Hi, it's State Representative Jim Walsh here in the gallery above the floor of the Washington State House of Representatives with my good colleague Gina Mosbrucker from the 14th District. Gina is the ranking member on, and it's got a long name, but the committee in the legislature that deals with public safety issues. And we're here today to talk about Initiative 2113, which restores law enforcement in Washington's ability to chase criminals and criminal suspects. Over the last few years, we've, in a number of steps, have limited law enforcement's ability to chase suspects in a vehicle, like chase them in their car. And what 2113 does is it restores the long-standing standard that a law enforcement officer can chase a criminal suspect on the basis of reasonable suspicion that the suspect has committed a crime. And that's what the standard was for decades in our state. And then in just the last few years, we kind of changed that. And Gina, this is really the part you've lived through and worked through. Tell everyone how we got to where we are now with this problem that needs to be fixed.
Certainly. Well, thank you for asking. I think that what we did is there was an attempt to change the culture of law enforcement and take the handcuffs off those who've committed crimes and put them on law enforcement. And so one of the best ways to do that, unfortunately, was to prevent law enforcement from chasing criminals, literally going after someone when they see them commit a crime. They did have exceptions. We fought back, and we got sexual crimes, and we got violent crimes. We fought again to get domestic violence. We've been trying to get back to where we need to be for reasonable suspicion so that law enforcement can do the job they were trained to do. There's something called a balance test, and that balance test says that every officer is trained in the state of Washington to make a decision. Is it safer for me? Is it more dangerous if I chase this perpetrator or if I don't? The high speeds through neighborhoods, we get that. They're trained not to do it in those cases. But what the legislature has done, against our will, has made sure that there's so many limitations that law enforcement can't chase, such as theft and car theft. You know the numbers on that. And then just simple theft. There's just so many opportunities for the perpetrator to not be apprehended. And what happens is the vehicle becomes a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, and we've seen that where gangs of thieves will steal cars, use the car as a weapon. I mean, they bust through the front of a store, a shop, an office. A lot of legal marijuana shops, they bust through the front using the vehicle as a tool, grab money and stuff out of the shop, and then skedaddle in another stolen vehicle, because they know that the police can't chase stolen vehicles.
All we can do is watch. Yeah, there's a great story by a sheriff in Washington State who was saying that they found the stolen car. They were excited, they found the car, they blocked off the car so they couldn't escape. And the perpetrator kept hitting the police cars in the blockade over and over, thousands of dollars of damage, and drove off. And law enforcement had to watch. They couldn't apprehend. They knew who did it. It was in front of them. It was some family's car. They probably needed to go to work, and they just had to watch. So we're fighting to get that back.
And that's what Initiative 2113 does. It says that reasonable suspicion standard can be the basis for a chase, for a pursuit across the board. So we don't have to carve out this one they can, this one they can't. 2113 just says the police can pursue on the basis of reasonable suspicion. And I think that gets us, it doesn't solve every problem that's causing crime to go up in the state, but it's the biggest single thing.
It is, and probable cause is very hard to prove, right? And so that's part of the problem as well. We want to make sure if you see someone committing the crime, it should be okay to apprehend. We're not trusting law enforcement's vision to see, it's crazy. But we're fighting hard. We have amazing people in the legislature, in the minority party, who are doing everything they possibly can to make sure that we're giving law enforcement the ability to do their job. We are last in the nation per capita of law enforcement officers in Washington State. Officers are saying, why would I want to be a police officer? And so now we're having to do legislation to try to put money towards retention and recruiting. We just need to let law enforcement do their job. I think we'll get law enforcement officers back. They'll know how much we support them and we appreciate them. We just have to keep working forward.
And 2113 is a big part of that. You'll be hearing more about it. It's one of the initiatives that may get some attention here before this short session is over. One way or the other, you're going to see 2113 in the system here and probably after our session. We'll talk more about that later. But for now, Gina, thanks for
Absolutely.
helping explain Initiative 2113.
Yeah, and reach out to either one of us if you have more questions. I know both of us
Absolutely.
are happy to talk about vehicle pursuit in Washington State and the lack thereof.
Amen. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.